Hello, everyone. My name is Shaquana Davis, and welcome to my policy skill video. In this video, I will detail how social movements inform public policy by helping to facilitate change in social values. I hope you enjoy my contribution to our policy library. Social movements can be characterized as a collective group of individuals who share a goal of spreading awareness and creating social change on specific political or social issues at local, state, national, or even global levels. Public policy is not only influenced by communities, organizations, or ideological currents, but also the important reform work of social movements. Throughout history, social movements have demonstrated their ability to drive social change by challenging many large-scale social issues such as racism, education, housing, marriage equality, and healthcare at the policy level. From movements such as the women's suffrage, the civil rights, LGBT rights, and more recently, Black Lives Matter, social movements have proven to be a catalyst for social change by helping to influence public policies with narrative changing. Social movements and public policy have a cause and effect relationship with one another. What that means is policies have a tendency to bring about social movements. Conversely, social movements may prompt new policies. In order to be successful at informing policy, social movements must be able to introduce the facts of the political or social issue in a convincing way that implicates a problem that requires a solution so that it may be formally addressed through policy. This action is carried out in the agenda setting phase of the policymaking process. In this stage of the policy process, an issue that impacts the general public is identified, and stakeholders from inside and outside of the government debate on potential solutions for the identified issue. Narratives are key in individual decision-making and are just as important in policy processes that involve large-scale change that requires a fundamental redefining of an issue. By reframing the narrative of social values, social movements help to change the perception of what the most important political problems are, therefore redefining the political agenda. Social movements help facilitate narrative changing in the policy process in 3 steps. The first step is making the issue more salient. Heightening the public's attention to the matter, mass media coverage, and engaging political elites is crucial in ensuring the issue makes it to the political agenda. The second step involves redefining or reframing the matter. A combination of empirical information and emotional appeal that is directly connected to core values encourages consensus building amongst policymakers. The third and final step is the entrance of new actors in the arena. Redefining the issue, coupled with compelling new information, brings interest from new actors in positions of power. This furthers mobilization of the social movement and increases public attention, support, and subsequent major policy revision or implementation. The Black Lives Matter movement is a great example of how narrative changing has had a great impact on public policy. This movement started in response to the acquittal of George Zimmerman in the death of Trayvon Martin. The movement continued to gain traction as more deaths of unarmed Black women and men occurred at the hands of police brutality. The movement gave way to conversations detailing the injustices faced by African Americans, which shifted the problem from a governmental issue to a societal issue. This open dialogue and storytelling received much support and momentum in changing the long-standing narratives about what it is to be Black in America, thus having a significant role in reshaping public discourse. The movement has also given rise to political candidates adopting new social policy agendas that specifically address police reform, racially disproportionate incarceration as a part of their campaign. The death of George Floyd in 2020 sparked Black Lives Matter protests all across America. 26 million people participated worldwide, making it the largest movement in the US history. The magnitude of these protests gave rise to police reform in cities all across the country, as well as local, state, and national legislation seeking reform of policing tactics and behaviors. In response to the Black Lives Matter protests, the George Floyd Justice and Police Act of 2021 was introduced to Congress and passed through the House of Representatives on March 3rd, 2021. This bill establishes a framework to prevent and remedy racial profiling by law enforcement at the federal, state, and local levels. It also limits the unnecessary use of force and restricts the use of no-knock warrants, chokeholds, and the carotid holds. The Black Lives Matter movement has been a major catalyst in the fight for social justice.